Recently, Virginia got a lot of rain in a short period of time. This resulted in the creek near my garage overflowing, flooding the whole area in several feet of water. My cars were victims, none more so than my tiny little Suzuki Cappuccino. At 48 inches tall, the Cappuccino was literally halfway underwater during the flood, but I've been too busy with work to show the car any attention beyond lots of fans and dehumidifiers. Now, it's finally time to show the little car a little attention, and when you want to treat your cars nice, you take them to Automotive Aesthetic.
Today we are working on a Suzuki Cappuccino. Ben Lynn's Suzuki Cappuccino. It's flooded.
Yeah, flooded Suzuki Cappuccino that is just filthy from the bottom up.
Hopefully we find a goldfish in there.
Yeah. Ben wants to keep driving it, and he can't really drive the car without it being clean and safe to get in and out of without getting a respiratory disease of some kind. Corrosion comes from dirt and water collecting in areas, so it could cause premature corrosion, at least on the underside of the car. We're excited. We got to tear this thing apart. Ben's already got the seats out. Gonna take the hardtop off so we can access the inside a little bit more. Take out the carpet.
Hi, Ben.
There's definitely going to be lots of soot, built up sand, whatever came from that rain, that's all going to be on the inside of the car as well.
Not bad. Ooh, besides this. Just found this. A little bit of rust, but it's old rust. Don't want to mess with that too much. Some of these were already missing, so I feel like some of the water that got into it did get into it and it stayed, but these two holes probably saved it on this side. Ready for this? This was stuck to the side. 1 yen. It's cool to see stuff like this because in America you just see like needles and cigarettes. So when we were removing, a lot of the rear plastics, we pulled up my side, and there was just an old rat's nest that's been sitting back there. Just from looking the car over, I didn't see any like torn wires or anything, but it's just some insulation that they nested in and just tore up. But all the wiring that's down here is, nothing seems to be chewed up. We're gonna have to steam back here and get rid of the stench. Japanese mice. I think they're nicer than American mice. They didn't tear up any of the wires. American mice would have destroyed it and left it a mess. That's what they did when they left. So thank you. I'm just gonna vacuum, see what I can get up. I know a lot of this stuff right here is too far gone, so I'm just gonna try to scrape this and vacuum it up. Kyle, can I see the steamer? Go around. I picked up a little bit of rat urine just from where they would run around and whatnot. You can see they were perched up like right here, and then they would urinate and it would leak down it was all through here. Holy urine.
The camera's on, it's urine.
I mean,
The camera's off. It's rat piss.
yeah, rat piss, dude. What's a rat piss? So now that I've cleaned all the heavy layer of mud off, I'm just gonna go in with, you know, some actual cleaner, get in there, clean everything that's up. This smells good, so it'll just help out. What up? I don't see anything too out of the ordinary. There's some corrosion going on down here though. Usually when these get wet, they turn like brown and stuff, or black. I don't know too much about computers, but I'd say that looks pretty decent.
There's some slight checkerboarding going on, like finish on the seats, which you actually can't even see in the center portion here. It is totally caked and covered in mud. The seats we're gonna have to be just a little bit more careful with. Keep the foam as dry as possible, in my opinion. Even though the seat was basically underwater, it's still best to just try to keep the foam as dry as possible, because again, you would go through this whole process of having to dry the seats for a couple days. And even then, you can still get mold growth with adding more and more water. You know, you could get soft spots in the foam that are pretty much permanent. We'll see what we can do as far as getting the smell out. I won't really know how the smell is after I do all this cleaning until it's dry. I wanted to start off with the carpet dry, cleaning it dry. You wouldn't typically go into a dirty car and start spraying a bunch of chemicals all over the carpet and then start vacuuming. That just causes all the dirt to kind of solidify onto the material itself. So my method here is a good old vacuum and a tornador. It's basically just an air compressor nozzle that spins and allows the air to kind of agitate at the same time instead of using a direct blow tip. Because a direct blow tip, you'd be here for hours. With this, it allows it to agitate the carpet. That way you can vacuum up anything that is kind of brought up to the surface.
After giving the carpets and seats a day to dry out in the sun and under some fans, we found the pleasant news that the trunk of the Cappuccino had been untouched by the floodwater. So we turned our attention to a mechanical check.
Okay, moment of truth. I don't know, that's looking pretty thin.
Yeah, that looks like water.
Yeah.
Oh, let me take a video real quick.
Yeah. No, that's water.
You still want to drain it?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
What's the point of keeping it in there, right? It's just gonna rust. Would somebody like some coffee?
Does it taste like water?
Yeah, can you drink that for me, Steven, real quick?
Cappuccino.
It's a little dark.
Yeah. Yeah, you like the light roast?
Yeah.
It looks okay now, but it was definitely, like, initially it was just all water, which makes sense because the oil and the water would separate.
Definitely more than a few ounces of water that initially came out.
Yeah, you can just tell right here. That's just water. Oil would have that smear. And water is just.
It's like a watercolor. It's like we're painting.
See how it's milky now? Water and oil will mix. Makes it really milky. We were determining like where the water line was. This is still muddy from where the water line was. It's not high enough for water to get into the spark plugs or anything like that. So it just, more than likely it came through the exhaust, floated up, and just got into the engine through there. Since, you know, the water line was somewhere up to here. It just fed its way all the way through. Pulled the plug just for giggles to find more water on the bottom of the plug, and then I noticed a lot of water in that plug hole. But there's water sitting on top of that cylinder right now. That means the engine's got good compression. It's not leaking through the ring.
There's so much moisture in there.
Now, Brian, if the fuel pump primes, if you hear it prime, just cut it really quick. No, you'd hear it.
We are going to get water out of the holes. Got nothing. Fuses.
Yeah, fuse box is probably soaked.
Brian suggested that we tap the starter in case the dirty water had gummed up the assembly. To my astonishment, that was actually the extent of the issue, proving once again that you should always start with the easiest answer.
Okay.
It's just spinning.
It's just spinning, yeah. So that means that it's not
Pushing out.
pushing out enough to engage
Flywheel.
the flywheel. So it's
Take a trip to the dance to get a starter.
yeah, you'll have a Suzuki Cappuccino starter. Yeah. All right, try it again. Yeah. All right, it's in gear. That's hilarious.
All right, you want me to try to start now?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God.
Brian, never let me doubt you again when you say to tap the starter.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead. All right. Yeah, the middle cylinder is the one we couldn't really get to, and that's the one that's shooting stuff
We can
out.
fire this thing up. I mean, does
No, we're not gonna fire this thing up. Unless, are we gonna drain the fuel out?
You can. You want to drain the fuel?
What I'm really worried about is that I'm gonna be late for my date tonight.
Vinland's date. Sorry. He's working. We're working. Always going another date. You can't. Today's the day to fix a car. You can't fix a car. He can't take you on a date.
Despite my time pressure, we decided to check if there was an easy way to drain the fuel from the tank, just in case we could conceivably drain the presumably watery gas and fire the car up today.
You should be on the lowest point of the car, and I see the lowest points on this side.
Yeah. I'm not seeing a drain.
Alas, it looks like the gas would either have to be pumped out or the tank dropped. I want to drop the tank and get it completely dry, and we don't have time for that today. But everything was looking good otherwise, or as good as it could, until while looking for the fuse box, we inspected deep underneath the dash.
So we found an extra piece of insulation, which was back there up against the kick panel. We removed that, and behind that, we found a rather unfortunate sight. Some very aggressive rust that did not come from the flood, because there's no way that it rusted that much since the flood. So I probably purchased the car with all of that there. Over here, we've got the same thing going on, unfortunately. Nice. Okay. Give him a little helping hand.
Thankfully, the electricals seem to be performing up to par, meaning that we can get the car ready for a wash.
Steven? 20? We do 20 of these a day?
20 of them a day? No.
We can do 20. We can do 20 a day.
Just wash it out again. Put water through it to get the dirt out.
I can. We're gonna put some goldfish in here. Smells like a bag, don't it?
Nothing. I mean, I can't smell anything.
Brian? I don't smell anything.
I smell more like cleaners left behind, which is not that big of a deal. So.
Smell Japanese farts?
And Steven, don't worry about doing any like bolting or anything like that.
With the car thoroughly cleaned inside the engine, in the interior and the exterior, we've done about all we can do at this stage of the revival. Seeing and smelling the car in this state made me realize I should have brought this thing to Steven and Brian as soon as I bought it, but I guess it only took a flood for me to actually get around to it. Next steps will be dropping and draining the gas tank, changing the oil a bunch of times, and eventually trying to start it, but that's for the next video.